Hey guys, Sean Little with Vapor Trail Tactical, and it is about 30 minutes until the sun completely goes down and actually gets dark. So I've got my Accuracy International 308 and got the PVS-27 with the Maztech 2K laser rangefinder. So we're going to play with some of that stuff and get everything set up. But I'm going to zero the Maztech real quick, so I'm going to go over that. And then we'll clip on the night vision and do everything else. Try to get some good footage for you tonight. I've got the TRIGGERCAM, and they gave me some good tips on how to get better night vision footage. So we'll see how that comes out. All right, so I've got the Maztech clipped on top of the Nightforce 4-20 on the AI. We're suppressed so the neighbors don't get super pissed off. And as you can tell, the neighbors' dogs are already going berserk because nobody's ever over here. So there we go. Let me pull the camera back a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Always collecting chronograph data on ammo, so we'll see how everything goes. Sun is still setting. It's very pretty out right now. And we're going to zero the Maztech real quick so you guys can see that. All right, so on the Maztech, it's got vis low and vis high. Right here, it's got vis low, vis high. We're going to put it on vis low, and get this thing sighted in. You guys can see where it's at. All right, so I've already got the Maztech reflective tape up on the target, so I'm going to record it with the TRIGGERCAM so you guys can see that. But it's very easy to see it on the paper, especially with it being as dark as it is right now. Visible laser will be naked eye. All right, so I did not have any audio recorded for this, and so I'm going to narrate this. The laser is just above center line, about almost a mil high, and when it hits the reflective tape, it sparkles like that. So I zeroed it a little bit high because that laser is actually impacting a little bit lower than what's visible on paper. So when I laser distance, it actually is going to hit right where the reticle is. So put the reticle center mass and hit the laser button, and it gives me my distance and my data collection. I had already previously zeroed this on Accuracy International. I put it on the LaRue for a short period of time, never zeroed it to the LaRue, put it back on the Accuracy International, and it's pretty much right where it was before. It's off just a little bit for windage, but torqued it right into the same spot, and it's pretty much right on where I had it before. So I did not have to re-zero this, but it was good to check to make sure that it went back to its original positioning, which it did, and is good. Later on, you'll see me laser targets, and when the laser goes out, it looks kind of like a band that goes across the berm, and it'll be on and it'll give me my distance, but you'll see how it lasers and how much of a beam it actually puts out whenever I laser target. So I had the illuminated reticle on to get it zeroed to make sure I could see the reticle, because when it's dark, you can't see anything. Illuminated reticle does help for this. All right, so the Maztech screen is very user-friendly. I'm gonna try to get this on so you guys can see me arranging stuff. Okay, so we're gonna laser the 100-yard target. This is 104 yards. And again, 104 yards. So that's dialed in at 100. The moon is already up. Very, very clear sky tonight. So my wife's camera does a really good job of Getting the moon in focus. I don't know how it does it. She's got a Samsung phone and I've got an Apple. Man, you figure Apple will be able to figure it out, but man. Anyways, that's the moon. It's only 25 power. My wife's camera goes up to, I think, 100 magnification, but it's a super gorgeous night tonight already. Got just a ray of the sun going down. We're gonna have perfect moonlight tonight, so we ought to be able to see the targets real good. And so it'll be a good night for recording and shooting. All right, so one of the hardest things to do with night vision is to be able to do everything with no white light. The more equipment that you have, the more difficult it becomes to do things without any kind of light source. So if you're doing this for combat operations, I would not be able to set any of this up for using any kind of white light or red light or anything. You can't have any kind of light if you're setting up for this stuff. A lot of times when we deployed in Iraq and we ran missions in Iraq, was we did all of our prep and everything prior to leaving the wire, and we double checked that we had backups and spares and batteries and all that kind of stuff. Knew exactly where it was, knew where it was on each other, because we had it several times where we were on a mission and stuff ran out of battery juice and had to find batteries. So fortunately we set it up and it went well. All right, so as you can tell, even with the good illumination and a trigger cam, it's very, very grainy. You guys will get to hopefully see with the trigger cam what I'm seeing, or at least pretty close to it. And so let's get some zeroing done. We'll walk down there and look at the group, see how it shoots. And then I know I'm about 0.2 left of center, and I've already dialed that out, so I should be point of aim, point of impact at 100 yards. I've already dialed 0.2 right to accommodate for my zero shift between 0 to not 0 with the PVS-27. Zeroed. Got 3 rounds. See where we're at. All right, so my first shot was really solid. My other two, one tracked to 9 o'clock, one tracked to 10 o'clock. So we'll see how the grouping looks at 100. No lights. No lights. All right, so I'm gonna assume that's first, second, third. So it jumped out to 10 o'clock. So we're gonna go back, shoot 2 more. There's my 100-yard grouping right there. For getting zeroed. So gun will definitely do it. I just need to get there's the Maztech reflective 12x12, right? 10x10 or whatever that is. That is my 100-yard target. Get 2 more in there, see if we can't manage that recoil better. And if you're wondering, I can leave my flag up at night because I do have a light on it. And the Almighty has got his light shining on it too. So it is a really calm night tonight. It's gonna be really nice for gauging targets at distance. Do 2 more. And again, doing everything without any kind of vision, right? Gotta get used to doing stuff at night. Although we've got all this light with the tablets and cameras and everything else. the owls are out. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I got some owls. Come on, baby. What's going on? Oh, my phone. All right, let's see if we can get that. I'm gonna have an extra bag. I don't normally have that bag. All right, 2 more rounds. Put them right there in the middle. That one was good. The other thing too is walking with nods, right? So when you walk and you walk normal, you don't have any kind of depth perception or anything like that. So walking under night vision takes some time. All right, it's the first time I walk down here and do it with my night vision. But I do have coyotes and some other little critters around here, so if anybody were to be down here, I don't want to be surprised. And night vision gives me the advantage, so I can see pretty well under nods. Let me tell you a story about how I put the other 2 rounds in the same grouping. There you go. So now I've got 3 in there and 2 out here, so that was much better grouping. I am aiming up here, so I do need to make an adjustment up. That's not a shift between the night vision and the gun. This is a different ammunition, and I did not zero out my turrets. Which this was, again, I was aiming here. I'm aiming here at 12 o'clock, and I still impacted low. So whenever typically, I would just fire a couple shots at 100 yards just to confirm. 2 or 3, usually I fire 3, go down and confirm. But since that was my marksmanship, I wanted to prove that I could actually put a groove up there for you guys. And it's pretty tonight. If you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see all those stars. Probably can. Man, it's pretty out tonight. My wife wanted to come and she couldn't come because she had to take my daughter to work, so that is a bummer because she is missing out. It's so pretty out tonight. Baby, I love you. Sorry you're missing out on this. All right, so the first shots I'm going to take are going to be with no IR illuminator. Okay, so we're going to go to 500. We'll take shots with no illuminator. I've got a full power PEC 15, which I've never used the full power. I always use the low power. But take shots at 500. See if we can get down to the minute of angle target. Should be able to. Just depends on whether I can get the hold down or not. All right, let's go to 500. All right, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is 200. You can see the, it's like a 3/4 half IPSC. That's a 3/4 IPSC, half IPSC. And there's actually a blue square right there. You can actually see my tractor in the background. Okay, so this does not do it justice. Okay, and we're gonna go to 400. 400's right here. Okay, full IPSC. You have the coyote right there. And I've got kind of a know your limits. We have an 8-inch target, a 6-inch target, and a 4-inch target. So I'm gonna attempt to hit those targets right there. The 8, 6, and the 4, okay? All right, so the 8, 6, and 4 for 400 yards. Let's get this bag situated here. Okay. It should be at 2.2. And look to the right. Impact. All right, so if you measure the width of that target, it's about, actually it's about 0.4 wide total, but from center it's 0.2 to the edge. I'm gonna do this for 6 inch. There we go. There's the and we got the 4 inch. Very nice. All right, so as you can see at 400 yards, 8, 6, and 4 inch targets on the little know your limits rack right there. Night vision is very capable. As long as your gun is capable, your night vision is going to complement your daytime ability. So being able to do this at night is very, very nice to be able to hit a 4 inch target, right? I had to get the windage down, but once I get the windage down and my hold down, I can hit a minute of angle target, no problem. So this is a very good capability. All right, 500, give me 505, give me 3.4 for elevation. And we're gonna hold that 1/2 mil, the windage to the left. That was a good hit. I don't know if you saw that flash, but it looked a tad bit high. Okay, so I'm gonna take another one at 3, like 3.1, 3.2. See if I can't get that down more center mass, because that looked like it was up in the neck of the collarbone. Okay, that was definitely a more solid hit. That looked like it's below the line. So 3.2 looks like it's going to be good elevation for me. All right, so I'm going to go to the 2 MOA square, 3.2, 1/2 mil. All right, solid hit. And then we're going to go to the 1 MOA circle, same thing, 3.2, 1/2 mil. And I did not see that. 3.2, 1/2 mil. Impact. Very nice. So again, at 500 yards, being able to hit the 1 MOA target. All right, so I'm going to go to 6. So 600 lays the target. You guys should be able to see the laser burst. It's going to say no target. And 601. All right, so 601 yards. It gives me 4.5 up. So I'm going to hold 4.5. On the full size IPSC, I can't really see the, I can see it, but 4.5 at 1/2 mil over the windage. Right on the line there. Again, looked high. So we're gonna go 4.2. Same hold. 4.5 would have been right there. Yep, so we're gonna go 4.2. And again, solid hit. All right, I'm gonna go to the small IPSC. That's a 1/2 IPSC at 600 yards. 4.2. Okay, low and right. So I'm able to see that. I know you guys can't see that. 4.2, look low and right. So we're gonna go 4.3. And we'll hold just a touch outside of 4.5. 4.3. Impact. All right, got that. Still got rounds in the gun. All right, so I'm going for the MOA target there. Okay. MOA target. 4.3. Just over 1/2. And I did not get it. I was touch low, and I'm out of ammo. As you guys could tell, if I'm at 4.3 and holding outside of 1/2 mil, I'm really just holding space. So I'm going to dial in. I'm going to dial in that 1/2 mil. So I could try to hold 4.3 center and get that hit. That target is very small, so it's hard to distinguish. And there you go. So the smaller targets, right? If I dial it in, I'm probably going to be more consistent, more accurate with my dial than I am trying to hold it. Sorry, 200 to 600. All right, shooter ready. Stand by, engage. 300. Over. Oh, that was off to the... All right, 500. And 600. All right. For some reason I couldn't hit 400. All right, so I'm just gonna run the targets 200 to 600. Shooter ready. Stand by. Six. All right. All right, well, TRIGGERCAM ran out of juice. So, I'm gonna do this though. I'll just do this the old way, all right? 300, 400. All right, we're gonna try to do the 8-inch of 400, which was 2, 3. All right, 400. I'm sorry, 500. 600. Off to the right. Impact. Love it. All right. All right, so that's 31 shots. Got a 16.6 standard deviation. Average velocity of 2587. And so it had stayed down in the 10s for most of the string. But to do that for 31 shots is all right. So specifically, as far as the Maztech goes for night vision applications, I like the fact that the buttons are just very simple, right? Just a couple of buttons to manipulate. Your controls are very familiar. The screen is big enough that you can see what's going on with the screen. It does go into sleep mode, which is nice because it conserves your battery. But as far as night vision goes, and the only drawback that I've had is that whenever I put my cover up on my PVS-27, is it is just barely sticking up enough to get it. So I may have to get something to where it goes off to the side. Other than this cover being in the way, and I've got to stretch it back to get it out of the way, kind of flatten it out. That's the only thing. That's the only issue I've had with the Maztech so far, as far as doing a night vision application. So you guys can't see her, but kitty rat's down. Baby kitty's down checking out my work at the 100-yard line. I can see her. She's going across. She just left the 100-yard line going out to the road. She is right going across. Hey, come here, goopball. Where are you going? You're gonna go hunt some mice? It's a good night for it. You can see really good. I've got my night vision goggles on so I can see her, but she's right there just to the right of the road. Alright, so this is what I can see through my night vision goggles. That's 100 yards. So she came down here to the left, went across the pallets that I've got. I got plastic pallets at the 100-yard line. She went across here and across the road. There's a little ditch over there, kind of a washout, but she went over there. Very nice night tonight. Hopefully you guys can see those stars. Alright, so that's the pistol range. I don't know if you can see this good enough or not. And down to the 100. Up on the ridge, and then the sky. Hopefully this is in focus.